Family, welcome to my channel, God's Favorites 444. I'm very thankful that you joined me today. I'm at the park trying to get some sunlight. I cannot stand it, but I am shiny. I do love the sunlight, but my skin is a little fragile. That is also a starseed trait. Fragile skin, sunlight sensitivity, things like that, or also there's a likelihood that you have some dragon codes and you can't handle cloudy weather. Lots of things. Today, I'm going to expand a little bit on what I was talking about yesterday with the gifted and the talented and the advanced. Human beings are multi-dimensional beings. You can literally find a supernatural trait to almost every single human. I got a small example is like a vampire. That's a narcissist. Sometimes or someone who just has to feed off of a crowd, or like a comedian. You could almost call a comedian that. They rely heavily on the audience's response to their joke as the validation of whether or not they're coming across well. Kind of vampire, right? Like they have to live off the laughter. So there's other traits exactly like this. The thing is, a lot of us have to learn to love our monster. A lot of us are still really scared of our gifts. Like a medium goes through a phase where you just think you're schizophrenic. You literally just think you're hearing things. And intuitive people also deal with that. It's like a type of telepathy where you can hear another person's thoughts, so it seems like your own intrusive thoughts, but it's not. You just heard the person next to you's thought process. This is hard when you connect with other people and the other people are doing it too. Most of the time you attract what you are, and that's a big key in finding out what your gift is. A lot of people have negative connotation around their gift, such as disclaimer, I'm not a doctor. These are from personal experiences. This is from going through it myself, overcoming it, and finding out what it was called. Schizophrenia is usually misdiagnosed. Manic depression, usually misdiagnosed. I call manic depression werewolf syndrome. You were fine a while ago and you're not so fine right now. Yes, because a while ago you were repressing your emotions and now you're feeling your emotions. So now you look like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but really you're just letting yourself feel how you feel. We live in a society that does not stop to digest, like grief. Grief is a big thing. You lose someone close to you and you still have to go to work and you're allowed a certain amount of time for bereavement, but after your 3 days, you're supposed to be done. You're supposed to not be sad anymore. You're supposed to just pick up the pieces and go back to what you're doing. That's not possible. But you do, and you try, because there's always the threat that your family will suffer. You'll go hungry. Your house will be taken away. Like, there's no time to stop and cry. There's just time to keep moving. You can only move on so much before it fractures your personality. Most gifted people have very fractured personalities. But where the cracks are, the light gets in. Those things that hurt you can also be your superpower. You overcome it, and then you've won the power of that. It no longer has power over you. Somewhere between societal norms, religious dogmas, medications, misdiagnosis, and misunderstanding. The most gifted people in the world are mostly in mental institutions, in prisons, in hermit mode in their house, hiding from the rest of the world. It does not need to be like that. There are people who, in the future, will be qualified enough to know what's what and who's who. But it starts with self-assessment. It starts with not trying to self-diagnose, but checking in with yourself. Checking in to see how things are affecting you, or what is affecting you, or who. All that. You have to study yourself. You have to treat yourself like a creature. Almost like an alien. Like, this is a never-before-seen thing, and only you can study it. As you study yourself, the rest of the world kind of falls away. Their opinions, their boxes for you, their expectations, their attachments to you, their control over you in general fades away. I am at the beginning of liberating myself from basically the social straitjacket, to where I stuffed and hide and just ran from it. I mean, I did like all of us do. Like, I suppressed. You can say, if you're the gifted, usually end up with possibly addiction problems, all types of bad coping, self-medicating, hell, sometimes self-harm. I mean, when you can't feel if you're in your vessel or not, things happen. And a spirit sometimes doesn't know it's in a body. Like when you're a person, but you don't feel like a person. Food is hard to eat. It's almost always food. Skin sensitivity, like really disliking contact, social anxiety. A lot of these things are the effect, with the root cause being that you're different. Your specific trauma responses created a type of a gift. And most of the time, the average bear doesn't have these gifts because their spirit was never broke, their mind was never broke. I don't know. A lot of people who have suffered narcissistic abuse became very, very gifted and don't know that's what it is. It's a multi-layered thing, and because of the trauma surrounding the whole thing, it's hard to discern what's going on. But I'm here to tell you, it's okay. Come towards the light. Stop throwing pills at it. Stop trying to sleep it off with someone to feel loved. Sit with yourself, listen to yourself, heal yourself. When you open these gifts, your life will become so much more whole, so much more complete. This is a piece of yourself you don't need to reject. It's a piece of yourself that developed to protect you. It's your superpower. It's your pain is your power. I want to teach you how to turn your pain into your power. I've been through some shit. I've been through enough shit to sit here and look you in the face and say, I survived. You'll survive. If you have enough time to sit here and watch this video right now, you are safe. You are okay. Take a deep breath. Let the anxiety settle down. Let the fight or flight turn off. A lot of the things that we feel are because we are super, super sensitive beings. And you can feel things going on around you that you can't see. It causes a reaction that you can't turn off because you can't find the threat and turn it off. Start looking for triggers. Start noticing how you feel. If you're in a room full of people and you are comfortable at first, and then all of a sudden you're not, try to think back. Was it the subject matter? Were they talking about something upsetting? Or did a new person come in the room that is already someone you've had a past with or a discomfort with and you don't want that conflict? Or were they in conflict themselves? Was there animosity? Start to check your environment more as an observer than a participant. It's good to feel, but you can feel too much, and it's good to think, but you can think too much. You can know too much and have nowhere to put it. The very gifted definitely know too much and don't know where to put it. So that's the point of rebalancing. Rebalancing the mind, the thoughts, reprogramming ourselves to normalize that there's not something wrong with you. It's something that it's like a muscle that needs to be worked out. You have to accept yourself first. You gotta love yourself like you are. You were made how you're supposed to be. You're good. This is for a reason. And when you find out the reason, you'll be so happy. You'll be so happy. It's like having a baby. All that pain is easily forgotten when you hug your newborn. So, since we are trying to birth a new earth, we have to deliver ourselves from the evil that has told us that we are inherently flawed, that there's something wrong with us, and that we need to be fixed. We don't need to be fixed. We need to love ourselves. And then we can love each other without the animosity, without the boxes, without the fear, without the judgment of ourselves or each other. And then we can reflect better back to one another. Let me be a reflection of that sunlight. Let me remind you, you are good enough. You are okay. You're loved, and you belong here just as much as anybody else. Nobody's beneath you, and nobody's above you. I'll see you next time. I love you.